Hey, it's Chronologically Gaming, the only channel that's perpetually retro because we're playing every video game in order of release. Retro is my business, and business is good. These are the brand new video games of November 1982. We were last on the Atari home computer playing the nth version of Voodoo Castle. Let's see what the next game is. Coming up next, it's Saurus Land on the Tomy Tutor, or later on the Tomy Tutor. I've said this before, this computer is the North American version of theぴゅう太, and this is Saurus Land, where you saw it first, in Japan. Here's the box for Saurus Land. Just Saurus Land. Oh, that is a great, well-done box. These boxes of theぴゅう太remind me of the Taito advertisement flyers, where they have a little bit of artwork, but then in the bottom right, or now near the bottom of the screen, are actual screenshots of the game. So, cool idea, mixing the two together right there. Yes, it is a 16-bit graphic computer, but don't flip out right now. We've already seen quote-unquote 16-bit graphic computers for a while now. So it's not like this amazing thing. Computers, they can base it based on the baud speed, based on the CPU. There's lots of different ways you could call it a 16-bit graphic computer. We flip it over the back. Yes. Oh, and are they keeping track? Wait a second. Number 3 on this side? I haven't noticed on the spine. This is this is the 4th game we've played on theぴゅう太. And on the back, they have how to play the game. Way to go. With some reconstructed screenshots. Love it. Yeah, it does look Flintstone-ish, man. I'm with you there. That's all we have, though. There's no other information I have for Saurus Land. Let's pop it and play Saurus Land by Tomy. The beginning of November 1982. I'm excited to see what in the world's going to happen with this one. So whether you put this cartridge into yourぴゅう太or your Tomy Tutor, you notice how we are using a Tomy Tutor, but right now this would only be available in Japan. I'm just glad we can see English or not. Oh, we get some music. Nice. Ooh. And some chords. Every now and then I want to just listen to the music because it's still a treat to hear actual tunes being played from computers. This is a 1 or 2 player game, but I'm actually going to go in with 1 player because it doesn't make a difference. And then we can choose between amateur or pro. And we're pros here, so we're going to go pro. Here I come. I have full range of motion to move around, and I can, swing my club, and that's it. As far as controls go, I'm just moving around and bashing everything in. I can bash it. I don't know what those are. Mini dinosaurs from the ground? I think so, yeah. Oh, gosh. All the dinosaurs flipped out. Oh, because the volcanoes exploded. Oh, no. Oh, man. That is charming. Animated very well. It does look like a science project in the background. Oh, man. So I'm already feeling vibes of games that we really haven't experienced here on the show. Most of the time when we are able to move around and bash things in, I only can think of one other game that had other enemies coming after us, where we can freely move around the screen. Now, it is only 1 screen, though, so it very much feels like an arcade game here on the computer, but, because I can't go from screen to screen, there isn't no exploration or anything like that. Oh, here they come. Get out of the way. I didn't hear the... Oh, there it is. Where's the sound of the volcano? And my score is just raising higher and higher and higher. Go, get out of the way. It looks like they're just falling down random. That's exactly my thoughts, James. This is a very early example of what we would call now as a beat-em-up. This is the proto version of it. At this point on Chronologically Gaming, we've only seen 1 other game that is anything close to this, and it was Sega's Samurai in the arcade back in 1980. I believe it was March 1980, and so there's only 1 other example of a game where you're running around and beating things up, or you're essentially... Think of it like fighting games. We played one-on-one or versus fighting games, but this is you against just a ton of weaker people or enemies that you're just smashing into. And we just have a club, so it's a simple idea. Just move around, stay alive. Oh, that looks... that dinosaur ran at me. You do have a live system and try to get the highest score you can, but it's just hang around, run around, and beat everything up. So while this is a really fresh idea for a video game, the concept and the way this plays is still not like amazing. I can understand why a lot of people aren't doing this idea. I also don't know why are they giving the enemies in the ground, because they don't really do anything. Or at least they don't hurt me if I walk across them. Yes, and this is very historically inaccurate. I would have had 2 clubs, not just 1. Oh, move! Oh, and it got me. I do like the ghost animation, though. That's very nice. We got a video game with dinosaurs in it, and we get to just beat them all up. It's very rare. The other video games with dinosaurs were the ones like Dino Wars we played on the Coco, and then we also played Dino Battle, which is a ripoff of that one, and that was just one-on-one dino fighting. This one, we actually get to hit them back, destroy them all. It's also a little rare playing a game that gives you this freedom to move around. We played another one, Karate, on the Atari 2600. It was a fighting game that allowed you to move around the playfield like this. So this is just the very humble beginnings of what we would call beat-em-ups. It's amazing. Oh, maybe they do affect the volcano. Maybe let me leave the moles alone, yeah. Oh no, I can't tell. But once the volcano explodes, gosh, those things are just random that rain from the sky. I don't know which way they're gonna go. Okay, I just got lucky that time. This is the very first video game we've ever played where you are playing as a caveman. Of all video games, maybe text adventures aren't included in that, but we're actually looking like a caveman and playing as a caveman. And the only other games that take place in a prehistoric setting like this one have been, Dino Wars, Dino Battle, but then also Condor and Condor Attack apparently took place in a prehistoric setting. But this is great because there's so many sci-fi games out there. It's a very powerful theme, sci-fi games. And so to play a game that is not sci-fi themed is very refreshing. I don't know for sure what they do for the volcano, but I also want to see if I can blow up or if I can club the volcano pieces. Let's see. No, it doesn't look like it. So it is repetitive. It is very simple. This is a concept for a game that is not really anything else out there. Only one other game in the arcades where you have a bunch of enemies coming after you, where you can beat them up. We have played games, that like we just saw on the Apple II and the Atari home computer, the Picnic Paranoia, with a bunch of insects that are running after you. But that one felt very different than this one. This one is even closer to a beat 'em up. Yeah, right? That one should count as a prehistoric, Curtis, but I don't know if that one's going to be out. I think it's later. We're not going to see that in 1982 at least. All right, so there you go, Saurus Land. So what'd you think? If you're a fan of beat-em-ups, would you be clamoring for this one? Because there's really nothing else out there besides Samurai that relates to this for all video gamedom. But for home computer space, it's not as enjoyable as a game to play. It's a quaint idea, cool idea, but I'd still say around the average range as far as gameplay goes. It's not doing anything exceptionally big. Yeah, I know, right? 3 stars, mostly around the average is what I see for right now. Brian's giving it a 3.5. Because of the prehistoric theme and because of the proto, I actually want to say 3.5 because of that. Yeah, across all computers, right? So still around average. Yeah, it's just a very simple game concept, so I'm not really doing anything particularly special for other video games, but across all computers you could play, there's a lot of competition. So yeah, we'll say 3 stars. Saurus Land is a very average video game. All right, after that, let's see what our next game is. To another home computer, this is the Commodore VIC-20. Let's play Scorpion. This one is by Livewire, and here's the box for Scorpion. Cool, they got the wireframe graphics of the scorpion on there. Destroy the poisonous cacti and deadly scorpions to survive. High-res color graphics and sound. Haven't heard that one before. Everything's high-res. And we only need the unexpanded VIC-20 with keyboard control too. You can see, flip it over on the back and it's just a cassette. A cassette tape, because we played video games on cassette tapes in November 1982. This one marks our 309th game we've played on the Commodore VIC-20. Lots of VIC-20 love out there. There it is. the cassette we're going to pop into play. Now, the area that we're playing this in is first originally from the United Kingdom. And you can see Livewire is on here. They're the publisher that did this one. And I don't see if they have the credit of the developer. I don't think they did. Yeah, they just have the publisher that did this one. We'll see the developer whenever we boot it up. So this one had only a couple versions, but the story to this game really is bigger than the game itself. So let's just play some Scorpion and see what it's about. This is by Dragonfly, developed by Jimmy Huey. Way to go, Jimmy. The beginning of November 1982. We are not going to wait for this one to load because it takes a very long time to load. So we are going to cheat. There we go. Now we're in. So we can use a joystick. There's the keyboard controls if you want to do that. And it's S to play. So Dragonfly is also known as Interesting Software. That's where we've seen Jimmy Huey before. This is the fourth game that we've seen Jimmy Huey or Interesting Software do in games like Nightcrawler, Quackers, Space Freaks. And we're about to see a game called Swarm and another one called Sidewinder pretty soon. The publishing company Livewire Software in the UK, this is the fourth game we've seen by them, and they've done Jumping Jack, which is kind of like Frogger, Triad, and Grid Trap. Now, I'm going to go ahead and go in the game and then explain more of the story part to it. All right, let's go S, and then we are in. It is Scorpions. Those don't look like centipedes at all. At the bottom of the screen, I am shooting like a centipede game. It's another just centipede variant, and that's pretty much it. We have cactus instead of mushrooms. It's looking like Centipede, is playing like Centipede. I mean, look at this. It's doing very well as far as Centipede goes, especially for the Commodore VIC-20. And even the enemies are leaving the cactus behind. Yeah, there we go. Nice. Easy now. That's it. Oh, it changes the colors too. Very cool. So most of the time when we saw Interesting Software make a game in the United Kingdom, it was published by Livewire Software in the United Kingdom. When it was published in North America, it was then taken over by Tronic. So those other games that we saw that Interesting Software had done, or Jimmy Huey had done, it was ported over to the United States by Tronics. Well, there's a few databases, including Moby Games right now, that has the confusion, and I can understand this confusion. There is 2 games called Scorpion for the Commodore VIC-20. And one of them is published by Livewire, this one. And there's another game called Scorpion that's published by Tronics. And so you'd expect that, okay, it's the same game. They're both called Scorpion because what Interesting Software does is they make the game in the United Kingdom and then they publish it, or Tronics publishes it in the United States. But no. For some reason, Jimmy Huey decided to do 2 different games. There is one game like this one that's Scorpion, exactly like Centipede, in the United Kingdom. But whenever it was brought over to the United States, he developed an entirely new game that Tronics did called Scorpion that is not Centipede at all. It's a completely different video game genre that we're going to see later. It blew my mind. I still would like to know more details of the story behind it. And speaking of which, when we play these games, some of these games have really intense stories. And so if you ever get a chance to talk to the developer, creators of these games, a lot of these have a really great story to tell. And that's just the one I'm fabricating just from looking it up. But yeah, this one's very well done. At least fairly average for all the games you could play up to this point. All right, so this one is another fixed shooter. We move left, right, and a little bit up and down, you know, to move our character around to shoot like Centipede. This one marks the 369th game we played that's a fixed shooter. This theme, though, with the Scorpions is kind of cool. We played eight different games that have arachnids as the main theme. Most of those have been spiders, though, not really scorpions. I think this is the very first scorpion-themed, or scorpion enemy that we've fought against. And the main thing you can see is the Centipede game. This is the 28th game we played that's a clone of Centipede. And there's already 8 of these on the Commodore VIC-20 alone. At least so far that we've played. There's already 8 of them. And so if you want to play a game that is like this, there's other games that take the Centipede idea, and some of them try to do arcade perfect versions of Centipede. Some of them try to go for a completely new concept, which has been really fun, especially for home computers. We have seen the official Centipede 2 on the Atari home computer, but as of right now, this is very average, I would say, for all the games you could play. Yeah, Curtis has thrown out 2.5 to 3 of all the games so far. Yeah, right. How does this equate to high res on the Commodore VIC-20? This is basically what every VIC-20 game mostly looks like. The character set of the VIC-20. So of all those games that we've seen up to this point, of all systems up to this point, or all home computers so far, I would say this one is very close to a game called Exterminator or Cosmic Snake that we've already seen on the Commodore VIC-20. It plays almost the same, identical to that. If you want to play some better ones, though, there's some really good ones for Centipede-style games on home computers. So of all the games you can play across all systems, and again, if it's your first time tuning in, this 5-star rating system is based on just right now, no other future games. Would you tell yourself this is a broken game of all games on all home computers right now? Then you'd be somewhere around the 1-star range. If you tell yourself this is a bad game of all computers that are right now, then you say this is somewhere on the 2-star range. If you think this is pretty average for all the games you could play across all home computers, it's somewhere around the 3-star range. If you think this is a really good game, an above average or excellent game, it's about the 4-star range. And if you think it's one of the best games you could play across all home computers, you're somewhere in the 5-star range. I'm going to put this one as a 3. Yes, Manly, good shoot. It was a good shoot. All right, now let's see what our next game is. We're back on theぴゅう太, and this is Scramble, the Scramble. And this one, I actually have the whole box for theぴゅう太. Sometimes I can't find all the artwork in Japan, and sometimes I can't find all the artwork in North America. So here we get the actual Tomy Tutor box of what it looked like. The game cartridge for ages 6 and up. Have some fun, kids. This is, by the way, the marketing of the Tomy Tutor. It was marketed for kids, and every front of the box looks like notebook paper, like you're in school. Just terrible. And it does say plays like the real arcade, but it feels like we're going to elementary school right now. This is the Scramble, by the way. The one we saw originally in the arcades in February 1981 by Konami. This is the very first time that you could officially play Scramble at home. The very first time. We played not official games that are called Scramble on the Commodore VIC-20. We played a game called Snake Scramble. We played QS Scramble on the ZX81. We played Spectrum Scramble on the Sinclair ZX Spectrum. And this is our 5th game for theぴゅう太. It starts out easy enough. Oh, yes. Oh, wait a second. Look at this. At the bottom, it says, whether you're 6 or 16, the Tomy Tutor, it's like they're trying to say, we know we made this computer for kids, but this isn't really an educational title. Don't tell your parents about all this fun. Let them think you're just being smart. Oh, my goodness. I don't know what to think of that. So here's the boxes for Scramble. Here it is on theぴゅう太. That one looks more like we're going to play some Scramble, some sci-fi action right there. Yeah, very, very weird marketing. I love the box for that. And on the back of the box of theぴゅう太, very similar to all the other ones we've seen. Some screenshots explaining how to play. Yes, let's get right down to business and play some good games. And there it is, the Tomy Tutor. It looks terrible. It looks like we're not. I love playing all these games where I don't have to play on this system, because I really would not want a picture of myself playing on this computer. All the other home computers, though, the Atari home computer, the Coco, the Apple II, I'm fine. Take pictures of me playing on that computer, but this one, no, not really. There's the cartridge. We actually have a screenshot of the cartridge. And again, even the cartridge has notebook paper. Why? Why did they do that? And there's the example of the screenshot. We even have the manual. How do we play Scramble? Let's see. First, you get your computer ready. Make sure it's hooked up the right way. The object of the game is to fly over mountains through armed cities. Yes, just like Scramble. Don't fly into the indestructible meteor missiles. Okay, got it. And then it explains how to play. And we always go through this on theぴゅう太anyway. But look at this. The controllers. Use the Joy controller or the joystick controller. Every time I've seen pictures of this home computer, it always shows the Joy controller. You can press the disc edge and then shoot at targets using the SL or SR, same way that you select your difficulty, amateur or pro. And then right here above my head is the play action. Ooh, yeah, or at least a little bit. And then over here at the top, they have enemy types. We have 5 spaceships, hit targets. We played a lot of Scramble here on the show already, so we kind of understand how it works. And there's our scoring. And then if you want to play again, you hit return to keep going. And that's if we had it on the Tomy Tutor. I'm doing that just because I can understand the language, but you would have seen it first in Japan. Here we go. This is Scramble by Konami for theぴゅう太, the beginning of November 1982. That's right, made by Konami. This is the 32nd game that we played that is by Konami, or at least Konami was involved with it. We've had 17 games by Konami in the arcade, 3 for the NEC PC 6001, 1 that was on the Atari home computer and Apple II, it's Frogger, 2 for the Arcadia 2001, 2 for the Intex Adventure Vision, 1 on the Fiddler's Video Pack because it was Frogger. And then this is our second game that Konami's done for theぴゅう太. All right, so here we go. I want to play cartridge. I want to see what Scramble's like. Oh, here it comes. Oh, wait, I forgot. I wanted to change an option setting before we go in because for some reason the volume for this just cranks up and it starts to have siren sound. So I'm gonna save everybody the pain of this. Okay, this should be better. Ready? And go. Now we put the cartridge in. Okay, that's a little better. Okay, this is not the bad part. It's whenever we actually get into the gameplay itself. So every other game we've seen, as always, Hot Seat Arcade, this is the same thing. Push number 1 to play. And then we're professionals here, so we're going pro. Get a little ditty to play. There it is. That's a little bit better. I think I have it toned down a little bit, but whenever you play this version of Scramble, which again is the very first official way to play Scramble, you have to fire forward and your bomb at the same time. You can see I also have the oil. You have to bomb to raise your fuel level at the very bottom. The scrolling, though, seems really, really choppy. I'm wondering if Konami had a little difficulty with this newer system because it's essentially the same innards that we've seen for the Texas Instruments home computer and ColecoVision, so it may have been new for them to use. Plus, you also have to think of most of the games that Konami has done that are not in the arcade, they were just licensed by Konami. They weren't done themselves. So I would love to know who did the work on this one for theぴゅう太. But as far as the other games at this point, I feel kind of bad for Konami because we've already seen lots of games that are ripping off Scramble for home computers, and so for this one to come out, it doesn't really have the same amount of flair as the other games we've seen. But I got the idea. It's the scrolling that is just a little too choppy, or at least compared to other ones we played. Yeah, right. Doesn't it feel like it is chuggy? But the other thing that I do note is the ship, though, moves fairly well. It's just the scrolling screen. This game is the 49th game that we played. That's a variant of Scramble. So, and that includes Scramble too. So just imagine, there are 49 games that we played, including the original Scramble. This is the first official one, and so it's like all those people ripped off Scramble, and this is the one that Konami actually gets to do, and I'm not impressed. If it was a perfect world, it should have been, Konami bringing over their own game, and it was very early, and I would be impressed by it, but I'm not. Yes, we have out-scrambled the Scramble, or we just scrambled it too much. Some of the best ways you could play Scramble right now on all home computers are games like Sea Dragon, Strike Force, Neptune, K-Star Patrol, Pegasus 2, Airstrike. Those are some of the best ways to play Scramble. The smoothest, the coolest, and putting in features that even the arcade didn't have. And so this right here is not as impressive as it really should be. But we are getting into the tight quarters as usual. Looks like I'm doing okay with fuel, even on the pro level. Doesn't seem that bad. Just barely made it through there, and you got to see I like the tight corridors of Scramble having to fit through like that. And they are doing the checkpoint system. Notice that whenever I die, I'm going to take over where I left off. Yeah, in the corridor area. Nice. All right, let's move ahead and see if we can get some bombs in. Yeah, so it's playing well enough. It's just because we've seen more and we've seen better on other home computers. Oh, hope I didn't need... Yeah, I didn't need that fuel. Okay, that's good. I'm interested to know if this one actually goes to a boss area. Or it just goes level by level. Yeah, maybe in Japan, Scramble does scramble less. Whoa, cool. And there's like this auto fire going on if I hold the button down. Awesome. So the 2D auto-scrolling game is pretty good. Oh, nice. We do have a boss. Cool. It's doing it. Let's see if we can get past it. Yes. And we get the music too. Very nice. All right, so I really don't have any problems with it. I'm just being nitpicky because I just know we've seen better, but it really isn't that. It's not a bad game by any stretch of the imagination. This game we're going to see pretty soon on the Vectrex, and I'm really excited for Scramble on that. I believe that one is an official one, or at least licensed by Konami. It's coming up pretty soon. We really should be comparing this to Scramble-like games on the Texas Instruments home computer or the ColecoVision. Texas Instruments doesn't have really a true Scramble-like game that you could play. It had some that were like Defender or shoot-'em-ups that scrolled, and so those were okay. They were pretty smooth. What we really should be comparing this to is Cosmic Avenger that's on the ColecoVision, because that one is essentially Scramble. Well, Cosmic Avenger was in the arcades, and it was a ripoff of Scramble, and they ported it over to the ColecoVision. So seeing that on very similar hardware is really what we should compare this to. Yeah. All right. I'm sure it would, yeah. So I see a 3.5-star rating of all the games you could play. Oh, and a 4. Nice. I know, it feels like since it's official, we should be giving it a higher score than all the other ones out there. I'm still thinking fairly average for the games you could play, or around the average range. Yeah, even James saying 3 or 3.5. That choppy scrolling's big, though. All right, so we have a game over. We can hit return. Yeah, it is perfectly mediocre, but I really want to give it a higher rating. Because it's official Konami. Imagine a world where there's only 32 games by Konami. That's just crazy. Oh, and maybe it did. Well, notice it starts kind of smooth, but then gets slower as more things come on the screen. It seems to be pretty smooth in the beginning, and then gets a little choppier after that. The other Scramble games that are adding more levels, longer, more things to see. What we've experienced here on the show, that was it. You saw every phase. And we're on the pro level, by the way, so they're throwing as much as they can at us. We get the boss at the end, and then it repeats, and then it just gets a little bit more difficult. But there isn't any other levels to see. It's just, it's very much a score attack, and very much just a few of the levels, and it's not going like a 1-to-1 for the arcade, so it's close. This one feels more like a Scramble variant than some of the other unofficial ones that try to be really close to the arcade. Yeah, that one right there. Gosh, the way it's slowing down. That also might be emulation too. So I'm going to see if I can find some footage of someone actually playing this on realぴゅう太 or Tomy Tutor hardware. And the pitches of this one, the sound is very, very shrill. That's why I brought the volume down. It hits you really hard. Yeah, but my experience with this is, I gotta say, just fairly average. I don't even want to go as higher than 3 stars. There's so many more other games that are on home computers that are doing something better, more impressive, and so I gotta just say, yeah, 3. Also because there's not any more to see than what you've seen on the show. Unless someone gets to a higher level, you can tell me if there's something that we missed. But in my playtest, it was the same thing. So there you go. Of all the games you could play across all home computers, the first way to play Scramble officially is 3 stars. There's a lot of really good ones out there. Still fun, though. Having a blast. All right, that's where we got to put our video game playing on pause. Man, I love diving into these obscure video games to see where we're going to go. The Japanese video game market is just going more and more and pushing, and we're going to be seeing lots of fun video games. And not just here in Japan, we're going to see them all over the world too, as we go in order. So next time on Chronologically Gaming, we got a lot of stuff that's going to be going on. First, we got some submarines that are shooting and ricocheting. And let me just pitch you this video game idea. Let's take Pac-Man, add multiple floors, add RPG elements with an inventory system, saving a damsel in distress, and you can grow and shrink in size. Just crazy. And we also have Spider-Man. We're going to be playing video games like a Spider-Man can. That's it for today, and like I always say, my wife says, why would anyone make or play any of these video games? And I say, why not? Hey everybody, thanks for checking out the channel and joining me on my quest to play every single video game in order of release. We'll be streaming live every weekday at 9 p.m. Central, so join us and let us know if we missed any games along the way. This video would not be possible without Launchbox, RetroArch, and MAME. Tell all your friends there's some crazy guy named Chronologically Gaming trying to play every single video game. We have links down below that'll send you to places like our Discord and Patreon, and one that says all the video games we've ever played. If you go there, it's a list of everything, and you can click right to the game you want to see. Chronologically Gaming is the name to look for. We are perpetually retro, and we will catch you next time.